Hello and welcome back to I'll Watch What They're Watching, where we're curious and adamant about cinema. I am one of your hosts. I'm Kyrie.
And I'm Adam.
And today we're going to talk about a few things. We've both seen some new releases. We're going to touch on that a little bit. But then we're going to kind of do what we did with Halloween, where we're going to talk about just kind of our movie experiences around Christmas. The things that, we can't go a year without watching, maybe some childhood favorites. We'll kind of just talk a little bit more about what that kind of looks like to us. Because, tis the season.
Right. And it's a big movie watching season, I think, too, compared to many other holidays. So that's kind of fun to talk about. I think, too, that, we did this for Halloween. We've had a lot of different kind of holiday things going on recently. And I think that we've been preparing for a long time, it feels like, for a few episodes coming soon, as far as, we always talk about the Ghibli episodes, we talk about the Oscars, we talk about the end of year. So I think there's a lot of things that are exciting coming up, but this is a good kind of just sort of step into, I think, why I love movies a lot. I'm sure probably similar to you, just some of those connections to some feelings about things and so forth. But yeah, it's a good time, and have some, before we get there, like Kyrie said, we have some good recent releases that we're going to talk through, have some good conversations there. So yeah.
So what have you, in regards to new releases, I know you saw Wake Up Dead Man, which we'll talk about in a little bit, because I did too. Have you seen, I want to say you've seen one or two more?
Yes. Let me double check my Letterboxd. I haven't been to the theater in a while, just for various reasons.
Again, 'tis the season.
Right. What's the date today?
Today is the 14th.
Okay, so we recorded last Sunday, and I think that afternoon I watched Jay Kelly.
Oh, yes.
That was another Netflix release, and I watched that one. So I can talk through that one just very briefly if you'd like.
Yeah, because we texted a little bit, but all you pretty much said is that I would hate it. And then
have you seen any other Noah Baumbach movies that you've liked?
I liked Marriage Story quite a bit.
Okay.
I liked Marriage Story quite a bit, and I've had Frances Ha on my radar, but I haven't gotten around to seeing it.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I think this is the first one I've seen. I liked it. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. And again, I said overall I liked it. I think it is a movie that feels a bit self-indulgent as far as what it's doing. I think what probably makes or breaks this movie for anybody is their opinion of George Clooney and or Adam Sandler.
Okay.
This is kind of surprising, I would think, is I actually don't know that I've seen very many movies with George Clooney, if I'm being honest. But
really?
I have recently read his Wikipedia page within the last few months, and he seems like a genuinely very, very good person. He has like a superstar wife who is, I can't remember all the details. She's some sort of like doctor or something, or like humanitarian. And he's been with her for a while, and they live somewhere in Europe or something. And they just do like a ton of charity work that just seems really good. He seems like a really good guy from all accounts.
That's awesome.
But anyways, so this movie, it's actually kind of funny, similar. I'm going to talk about What a Wonderful Life in here just a little bit. And it does have some similar-ish vibes of just like someone kind of reckoning with their past. And it does do some pretty cool movie making things that I'll say here, not that big of a spoiler, but like at one point they're in a private jet, and he like walks into where the pilots sit. And as he walks through the door, he like walks into a scene from his past. And then he watches that scene from his past. So there are some really cool things there. I do think Adam Sandler is the one that's getting buzz for Best Supporting Actor, Before then, it was like this movie was solidly in people's predictions for Best Picture, but I think since it's released, people are a little bit less bullish. It didn't do, like, a lot of people don't like it as much as what they would like a regular Best Picture contender, so I think it's kind of fallen out, but it's still kind of hovering there that it could be in there. Um, yeah, it's just
I
an
do think,
interesting.
yeah, I do think that's been really interesting this year is there have I feel like there have been movies, well, like Wicked, for example, because Wicked Part 1 was a Best Picture nom. I think everyone just expected Part 2 to be it, and now some people are like, maybe not? And there are definitely some movies that I feel like people have been like, yeah, that'll be probably Best Picture contender, definitely an Oscar buzz around it. And some of these movies have come out and people are kind of like, maybe not.
Yeah, I think I can't remember the buzz before, like a while before One Bell After Another release. The one that I have off the top of my head that was like predicted and has been solidly in the whole time is Hamnet. So
Yes.
yeah, that's one that again I really want to see. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think this overall was a good movie. I liked it on Netflix, so anyone can watch it at any time. Just like Wake Up Dead Man, which we'll talk about next.
Yes. And then I went to theaters to see Scarlet, which is a Japanese animated film. I was joking with my family and you are so good, Adam, about making sure you're watching like awards contenders, blockbusters, like things that people want to see. And I'm over here being like, what's this weird Chinese animated film? What's this weird Japanese animated film? Because, yeah, those are the things I'm interested in.
Yeah,
So this one,
I was just gonna say, when you watched that one a few weeks ago, I was like, what in the world is this?
yeah, no,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
Japanese one, yeah, or the Chinese one. Yeah, the thing is, I will only watch so much slop. I feel like I shouldn't say that because I don't want to put a bad. I haven't seen it, so I shouldn't say anything. But like Wicked Part 2, I was going to see a couple weeks ago. Like I had it. I had my seat picked out. I had everything I was gonna go Friday night, a couple Fridays ago. And Thursday night, I looked at Sarah and I was like, I don't think I'm going to go see Wicked tomorrow. And she was like, oh, come on, why not? And I was like, I don't want to. Literally what it came down to is I was like, I want to be home on a Friday night and I don't want to see this thing. Because I already
Yeah.
was kind of hesitant. And when you said you were bored during it, that's when I was like, I don't know if I want to go see this thing. So anyway, it is what it is. But Scarlet, directed by Mamoru Hosoda, who has done something I really liked. Wolf Children, which you and I both saw and really enjoyed. Belle, which is one I really liked. And then I saw The Boy and the Beast a handful of months ago in theaters as well that I also liked. Didn't love, but liked quite a bit. This one's a mess.
Yikes.
Like, it's so bad. Because you and I had been talking about this, since, what, August, July?
Mm-hmm.
Talking about, I mean, because I remember you sent me the poster and I was like, there is a woman on the cover with a sword. I am in. I
Again,
am all
another
in.
one
This
that
sounds great.
this one was squarely in the predictions for Best Animated.
Right. Yeah, yeah. Again, Hosoda has done some like really outstanding work. He's done a lot that I haven't seen either. Oh, I think he may have also done The Girl Who Leapt Through Time, which I also quite liked. So I've seen a handful of his. And at the very least, like I have friends who didn't love the story of Belle, and there are. Anyway, I don't need to go into Belle right now, but it's pretty. Like it's really stunning. This one had some moments where I was like, that's really cool. That's really pretty. And then there were other moments that I was like, it looks CG and it looks like bad CG. And so there were moments like that and there were moments where you had like CG and 2D in the same image. And
Okay.
that also is weird. You can't quite get them to line up. I don't know. It was just, there were parts of the animation that I was like, okay. And then there were parts that I was like, this is really spectacular. But there was a lot of parts I was just like, I don't know that this is great. And
Yikes.
from Hosoda, like, you expect great, but I feel like the animation I could have been more forgiving on if the story was there. The story's not there. It is near incoherent.
Oh no.
Like it makes so little sense. And there are just weird cuts. Like you'll be in a scene, you'll be trucking along, and then it cuts to the next scene, and you feel like, okay, scene 1 is the main girl and the main guy like talking, and then it'll cut to like a group of people walking up a mountain, and you don't know until about 3 minutes in that the girl and the guy are with this group of people. You don't know how they got with the group of people. You don't know why they're there. It's just, and because I've been thinking, like, is this just bad filmmaking, or is there a reason behind it? And I think, because I've seen some movies where the cutting is really jarring, or there will be like repeats of scenes, and it's because it's like it's meant to be kind of a mind trip. Like you're like,
Sure.
oh, this is really trippy. This is, I don't know what's going on, and you're not supposed to know what's going on yet. And I also feel like sometimes they'll do it because it's meant to kind of be almost uncanny.
Okay.
And I think that's what maybe they were trying to do, is because there's this other world, which is kind of the afterlife-ish. And so part of me is just like, maybe that's what they were doing, is it was meant to be kind of uncanny because you're in this world that you don't understand. You're in the other world. But it ended up feeling jarring. It didn't make a lot of sense. And it's trying, and I texted this to you, it's trying really, really hard to like be profound. And like there were scenes at the end where I was like, had the rest of the story been better, I think this might have landed. Like there were moments where I was like, I can feel that this is trying. Like this score is really great. I don't hate these lines, but I am so not invested into everything that has happened so far that this is not landing for me.
Yeah. Darn.
So, because, it tried to really be about, there was themes of forgiveness and pacifism, and war doesn't help anything, and hate and rage don't do anything for you, which I'm like, okay. But like the movie sets itself up as a vengeance film.
Okay,
where like,
interesting.
Yeah, this really isn't a big spoiler, because I feel like this happens early on. So it's set in Denmark. The lead is the daughter of like a king who's just beloved by his country, and the king's brother and wife basically like stage this plot and almost like this coup. They kind of frame the king as being a traitor, and they kill the king. So the whole story is both in Denmark, and then it goes into the other world, it's a revenge plot. It's her like training and doing all these things because she's like, I am going to avenge my father. Like I am going to make sure that that his brother pays for what he did. And while I think the sentiment of forgiveness and, ending wars and hatred is nice, like that is a moral standpoint that I approve of, I don't know that I wanted that for this film.
Okay, yeah, that sounds interesting based on, I get it.
Yeah, like, because the male lead is it's kind of jarring the way that relationship kind of plays out. And yeah, I don't know. It's just, the plot is sort of a shambles. The visuals are hit or miss. Overall, I'm hitting like a 2-star on this. Like I would just, like I even told some of my friends, I was like, don't bother. Don't bother. Don't go see. I saw it in IMAX too, which made some of the visuals really wow. But yeah, I just again, don't bother. It's not worth it. The movie's kind of a mess. If you're really one of those who wants to see Hosoda's films, wait a while. I'm sure it'll be out on some sort of streaming service eventually. But I mean, I would say you're much better off seeing a lot of his others. His others are good, and this one is not. Basically.
Shoot. That just reminded me though of when we went to see Zootopia 2, we originally were like, I'm like, let's go to IMAX. But then the price difference of, I think it was $50 or $60 for the family to go see, I was like, Maybe Zootopia 2 isn't the one we need to see in IMAX.
I mean, I have the AMC pass, so it doesn't matter for me. I can see things in it, which is why. And I don't. I think it was playing only in IMAX. I don't know if they were
Oh,
just.
okay, sure.
I don't know if that was just they're trying to fill IMAX until something else big comes along. But yeah, I mean, I saw it in IMAX. Was really excited to see it in IMAX. Moments were really great. But yeah,
Let's talk about something we like. So,
yes.
last night you saw Knives Out. I saw it Friday night, same night it released on Netflix on Friday. This is
we
the
watched
third.
Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery.
Yes, third Knives Out movie. I guess, yes, it is technically called Wake Up Dead Man, which, some people call it that. Some people call it Knives Out, but we are who we are.
Okay.
So the first one didn't release on Netflix, right? It was just a regular movie. Okay. And then the second one released on Netflix, and this one released on Netflix. But anyways, yes. So I think what I love about the Knives Out movies is it's basically exactly what you're going to expect. The only person returning, like, in his exact role is Daniel Craig as the detective Blanc, and they just pull as many popular actors as they possibly can, and they do a mystery, and I think that's great, and I think that works really well, and I think that it does all those things well, and I think this follows along right with that. What's your general thoughts overall on Knives Out?
Yeah, I really dig the first one. Like, I really like Knives Out. I've seen it maybe 3 or 4 times. I've seen it when it came out. And then I've actually watched it twice fairly recently when I moved in. And then I watched it with Sarah just a few weeks ago, and she really liked it as well. Same thing. I really like this. Is kind of, they did this with Agatha Christie novels.
Right.
Back 70s, I think. And then they've done it recently with Kenneth Branagh playing Hercule Poirot as kind of the Benoit Blanc-esque character. And yeah, I think it's a formula that works. I have not really liked the Poirot ones nearly as much. You can look at my review on Death of the Nile on Letterboxd. I did not care for that film. But these, I do think they really work. I love me a good whodunit. I think they're fun. I think the cast every time, you can tell the cast is having fun with it. They are very good at playing, like, characters, if that makes sense, like almost caricatures. I do think, we'll get into this a little bit, I do think Knives Out is the strongest of the three. I'm pretty comfortable and confident with that. I also think it's got the most star-studded cast. You've got Jamie Lee Curtis.
The first one?
That was kind of the height of Chris Evans' fame. You've got Jamie Lee Curtis. You've got Toni Collette. You've got Christopher Plummer. Glass Onion, I was not quite so hot on. But this one, yeah, I think like you said, I think it's a formula that works. I like whodunits. I like the mystery. I'm always, trying to guess who it is, and I'm very willing to go for the ride.
Good, yeah. I think what really sold me, I mean, I was already sold on concept, so that's not a good way to start it, but I love Josh O'Connor. And
right.
I keep saying we'll talk more about this. We can just keep talking about it as it comes up. This will be something that comes up in the Oscar race. I saw someone post this. Netflix is campaigning Josh O'Connor for this Oscars as Best Supporting Actor.
What?
Yeah, so there's this whole thing called category fraud, and they basically, because if you put Josh O'Connor as a supporting actor, then he has a much more, like, strong performance because he's really the lead actor. It is insane to call him the supporting actor. Because, I mean, and we both talked about this. We both talked about this as some of our flaws of the film, but the first 30, 35 minutes is just him narrating kind of what's been going on and who all these people are. And Blanc doesn't even show up for, I think, another 10 after that. So it's like 45 minutes into the movie. Granted, it's a 2.5-hour movie, so there's still plenty of time for him to be there. but he's not even there. It's all just Josh O'Connor doing his thing. And so
Yeah.
to categorize him as supporting actor is laughable at best, but a fraud at worst. And I can't imagine I don't know how you put a boundary around that category in the Oscars, but they got to figure something out. You can't pretend that
Right.
he's your best supporting actor. And so I think that part of my issue, I think, with this movie is I think that it's like I'm categorizing the like all the stars into two buckets, those that I think really worked and those that didn't work. And basically
Mm.
all the suspects are in my category of didn't work that well. Even though you have 30 minutes at the beginning of exposition kind of explaining them and everything about them, I don't feel like any of them were fleshed out or developed enough for me to really be engaged at all. The only person I liked
Yeah.
their performance was Kaylee Spaney, who's the one in the wheelchair. And
See, and I would say
I really,
I liked Renner's performance.
I think film is subjective. Many of these opinions are
Right.
subjective. My subjective opinion is I thought he was the poorest. So I'll just,
Okay.
um, I think I was really disappointed in Andrew Scott. He was the writer.
Yeah.
He was in Blue Moon, which I've talked about a few times earlier this year. And
Well, he's just fantastic.
like good enough in Blue Moon that I wouldn't be mad if he was nominated for Best Supporting Actor. Like he was so good in that movie, and I just felt like this wasn't that good. And granted, a lot of these characters you're not really supposed to like them, but I still don't think they were well written.
Same. And again, this is kind of where I go back to Knives Out, is like, because I've seen it recently, so it's fresh in the mind. Jamie Lee Curtis's character, definitely a fully formed character. Chris Evans' character, fully formed. Toni Collette, fully formed. Who's the guy? He plays the son. The guy who runs the publishing company. He's also in Shape of Water. Oh, well, I'm so sorry. I can't remember his name.
It's been a while,
Like,
sorry.
no, you're good. Like, everyone in that movie, I feel like, is a fully formed character with backstory and motives. And I just don't know that I feel that as much in this one. Like, I feel like it's the show don't tell idea. And I feel like this does a lot of, with that awful exposition in the beginning, it does a lot of telling. It's like, oh yeah, his wife left him, so he has this. Oh, she has chronic nerve pain, so this. And I was just like, my gosh, I felt like it was so much information just spouted at me. Like, okay, well, let's get you up to speed. And like Knives Out didn't have to do that. Knives Out did a great job of kind of showing you.
Yeah, I could see the argument that that's, you know, just kind of the result of the genre of you need all this backstory and all these different things. And I think you make a great point that Knives Out 1 still gives you all of that, but it's not just this narration over and over again. But
Yeah.
talking about some of the positives, I do think outside of those performances in my other category of your Josh O'Connor, Glenn Close, Daniel Craig, Josh Brolin, I think those four give enough that I'm like, yeah, I did enjoy this. I think those four are really, really good and keep me engaged and I think they hit the emotional beats or the like sort of deeper thinking about some of these philosophical or religious questions. I think those four do a really good job of kind of getting those themes into the movie, relating to faith and the stories we tell ourselves and that sort of through line. So I really did like that part of it, but took a while to get there.
Yeah, and I mean, we talked about this a little bit. I said I thought the balance of religion was really beautiful. It really does a great job, really beautiful job of balancing kind of the religious themes. I feel like you've got likable characters who are religious, and you've got unlikable characters who are religious. And like Benoit Blanc is very clearly an atheist, which that tracks based on what we've seen. You know, he's all about logic and rationale, and he's gay, so obviously it makes sense that your religion is not his thing. I really love Josh O'Connor's portrayal though, because I think he's so earnest.
Mm-hmm.
And his character, like, he does a really good job portraying a character that is really, really trying to, like, help people and really, really trying to do the right thing. And I like that because we've talked about religion a little bit. I mean, kind of my perspective is like there are crappy people in religion and there are wonderful people in religion, and there are crappy atheists and there are wonderful atheists. Like, every person is their own person, religion or not. And I think this does a really good job of, like, yeah, some people use religious fanaticism as a way to harm people, and some people use religion as a way to help people. And I think that's just, like, what it comes down to. And I think this does a really good job of balancing that.
Yeah, that's a really good summary. Really well put. I won't add anything to that. I think my last thing, again, I liked it. I gave it a 3 out of 5. Wasn't my favorite, but I still liked it. I do feel like the twist didn't hit me that hard. I've gone on record in this podcast saying that I'm usually a sucker and I'll be like, whoa, and just along for the ride. But this time I was just kind of like, wasn't that crazy of a, it's always going to be some sort of fake out, and this one just didn't hit for me that hard.
I think the fun thing with mysteries is you're kind of supposed to suspect, like, everyone has a motive. Everyone is a suspect. And this one had that, you have the reveal where you kind of find out that, pretty much every suspect had a motive. But pretty early on, Sarah and I guessed who it was. And then I was like, I feel like that person's too obvious. It's not going to be them. And I'm being vague enough in the hopes that this won't spoil it. But, like, when it ended up that it was the person that we thought, I was like, well, okay then.
Yeah,
like
it should be the one you always most medium suspect, right?
Right. Like, the biggest suspect is it's never them. Like, that's kind of your red herrings, your bait and switch. And I was just, when it revealed, I was like, oh. And I think it had some stuff to it. Part of the fun was, like, halfway through, I was just like, I'm so confused. I don't know how any of this is happening. That's
Sure.
the point. You're supposed, wake up. Well, because don't feel like this is a huge spoiler. Someone dies. And then with the title Wake Up Dead Man, I was like, oh, this person's gonna somehow not be dead. Like, rise from the dead. And so when you saw that happen, I was like, I knew it. But, so yeah, there was a lot about this film where I was like, I have no idea. Even if I have a hunch of who the murderer is, I was like, I have no idea why or how. I don't know what's going on. I don't know how this is happening. So that was fun to see play out. But as far as the actual killer, I was like, I kind of guessed it would be you.
Yeah.
I landed on 3.5. I thought I definitely liked it more than Glass Onion. I was pretty cool on Glass Onion. I still think that Knives Out is the strongest of the three.
Yeah, no, I don't think I disagree, but still a good time. Excited for when they bring back 4, because again, it's a formula that works, and I'll watch it every time. But yeah, a little less exposition maybe next time.
Yeah, it's gonna continue to make money. These movies, people love them. So I think I would not be surprised if Rian Johnson decides to just keep cranking out Blanc films for a hot minute. But yeah, I think, like I said, like you said, exposition far too long. I think even the reveal was far too long. Like, when you get close to the point where they're going to reveal what's happening, there was still 40 minutes left.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you have 40 minutes at the beginning for exposition. You have 40 minutes at the end for the reveal. That is an hour and a half of your film. No. Both of those could have been cut in half. Nonsense.
Yeah.
But Christmas. So mine is mostly Christmas specials. I have one that I think is an actual film. I think the rest are like specials that are no longer than, I have 2 that are real films. The rest are your 30-minute specials. But because I kind of said this about around Halloween, same thing. It was specials for me. But I know you tend to lean more into movies. So what are what are your ones you have to hit every year?
Yeah, you're saying that because you originally wanted to do like a top 3 or top 5 Christmas specials, and I was hesitant, but just the other day I kind of had an epiphany, and I was like, oh, you know what? There are a lot of Christmas specials that I like.
So many.
And I think even like, because I was thinking of like the Office Christmas episodes, and I was like, those are like Christmas specials you could categorize.
Oh.
And so I think of one of my favorite kind of watching memories was one one Christmas Eve, we all went downstairs and had a sleepover together and just watched like all the Christmas episodes of The Office and all the Christmas episodes of I can't remember what else, Parks and Rec or Brooklyn Nine-Nine or whatever it
Right.
was, and that was really fun. But I think there's kind of two categories of like memories or traditions around Christmas and movies. Number one would just be the ones we watch every year, which I'll get into that. We had a box that we would lug up and it'd have all the Christmas movies in it. And then the second thing would be it's one of those funny, like, when I think back of it, traditions of like, we really didn't do this every year, but it feels like we did, and it feels like it's a tradition that we had, which was going to see a movie on Christmas Eve, which, kind
Okay.
of can be subject to what movie are we going to go see and like what's out and what's the whole thing. But I mentioned this in one of our first episodes that Lord of the Rings fell into one of these categories of movies that we saw. I was very young and we saw on Christmas Eve, but there's a few others across the years that we did that. And I think even like as this is a tradition and it's very specific to Christmas Eve and everything, but like I remember there's one Christmas I got movie tickets for Christmas, so it's like it didn't necessarily happen on Christmas Eve, but it just kind of lumped into all of that. Those movie tickets and I'm referencing one of the most disappointing movies I've ever been to. I was a huge fan of the books, was really excited about the movie, and it was just not good, and that was Aragon.
Yeah.
Yeah, terrible movie.
Oh, yeah, that was
terrible
bad.
movie.
That was really bad.
Yeah. So I think, Harry Potter's were in there.
Yeah.
Mentioned Lord of the Rings already. I think I don't think my family went to see the Hunger Games movies. But yeah, it just kind of see what's coming out around Christmas, and we would try to get out and go see that. And that was always very, very fond memories that I had. We didn't go to the movies that often, so it did feel very, very special. We
It
would
was special. Yeah.
pack our little goodie bags before we'd go, various treats and snacks, and that was always a blast. So, and again, I already mentioned the Christmas movies we'd watch very often. So it's just movies and Christmas just go hand in hand for me, and it's just a very special time for watching movies and being with people you love.
Yeah, a lot of mine, when I mean Christmas specials, I'm talking about like the 30-minute.
Right.
Your Frosty the Snowman, your Rudolph, your Santa Claus is coming to town. Because there are so many, I'm gonna just sort of name some almost as like honorable mentions, but there's three I really want to focus on. But Frosty the Snowman was one that we watched growing up. Mickey's Christmas Carol was one. We had one year, my little brother, his birthday's at the beginning of December. He bought with his birthday money. He was little. There was Mickey's Twice Upon a Christmas came out, because there's Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas, which was 2D animation. I think they came in like 90s or 2000s. Mickey's Twice Upon a Christmas, came out later 2000s. It's not very good, but it's one that it is almost like a cult classic in my family at this point. Like, it's the one that we all like watch, and we know the parts where everyone laughs, the parts where everyone likes, the parts where we all sort of make fun of it. It's like a cult classic. And then my favorite when I was a little kid, of like the Rankin Bass ones, the Rudolph, the Frosty, Santa Claus is Coming to Town was one I loved as a kid. And then there's this really bizarre 70s one called 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. And it's about some mice in this household, and like one of the mice children writes a letter to Santa. I think basically being like, you're not real or something, like basically writes a cheeky letter to Santa. And so Santa's like, well, I'm not going to come to your town then for Christmas. And so it's like, it's a bizarre, cheesy little film. I have it on DVD because I found it somewhere for like $3, and I was like, yep, I will own this now. I love it. It's bizarre, but there are kind of three that I want to focus on. The first is, and I brought it up before, is Beauty and the Beast, The Enchanted Christmas.
Sure.
It came out in 1997. It's directed by Andrew Knight, who it looks like has done pretty much nothing else of note. A handful of writers, so I didn't write them all down. It's pretty much the original voice cast. Like, it's still Paige O'Hara as Belle, Robbie Benson as the Beast, Angela Lansbury as Mrs. Potts. Like, it's pretty much the same cast. But you also have Tim Curry as your villain and Bernadette Peters as a character specific to this movie. I love it. I love it so much. I know it's not great. Like, it's one that I watched last year and I was just like, this is in those string of, Disney direct-to-video animated sequels. To be fair, when you compare it to the garbage like Return of Jafar and
Hey.
2.
Don't be throwing shade at the Return of Jafar.
I'm just saying the animation in Enchanted Christmas is better than the animation in Return of Jafar. It's still not great, and it's still not in the realm of, Beauty and the Beast is one of the most beautiful films of all time. It's not even close to the same.
And I think you were texting me about this once, and I was like, oh yeah, dude, I've totally seen this. Because for whatever reason, I think we pretty much just whatever direct to sequel things came out, we own. So all the Aladdins, all this. Yeah, no, I totally have seen this.
The songs are hit or miss. There's one called Stories at the beginning that I think is really lovely. And then there's kind of the main song, As Long as There's Christmas, which I also, maybe it's the nostalgia in me, but I enjoy. But the villain song is pretty awful. It's quite bad. There's a song that Cogsworth and Lumiere sing that's also just bad. Straight up bad. So songs aren't great. The villain is honestly, it's Tim Curry, and he's doing a fabulous job with it. He's really hamming up that voice acting as Tim Curry does. The animation for that character though is CG.
Okay.
And it's poor CG, and it is pretty out of place. But I don't think it works when comparing it to the rest of the film. And I feel like you can kind of see the CG quality of it. I do think that the character design for Forte, though, is pretty great. I feel like he's dark and eerie and manipulative, and I feel like that shows in the face. And this is my memory. I might watch it in a week and then be like, sorry guys, I was wrong. It's not good. But yeah, I remember it being pretty great. I do think the highlight, song-wise, artistic-wise, is the song Stories. I mentioned it before. It is my favorite song in it. I think I really like the lyrics. I think it has a nice melody. And that's the only real time where the animation is doing something different, where it's not just serviceable. It has this, because Belle's writing a book for the Beast to give him for Christmas. And so it's kind of doing this almost like old-timey picture book where it's only got, a few frames per second, but it's really artistically done. It's this very interesting style that I haven't really seen. That is definitely the highlight. But overall, I think it's fun. I think if you have kids who like the Disney movies, it's a fun watch. You have a good time with it. The villain's a lot of fun. You have kind of the Christmas spirit aspect of it. I love it. I love it a lot.
Good. As you should. It's your favorite movies. I don't know, little brother.
Sequel.
Little sister. Sequel.
Little sister. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of the weird stepchild, but sure, we'll say little sister.
Yeah, I don't remember it being a Christmas movie. It wasn't one that was with our Christmas movie box, but I'm not judging you. That's great.
Yeah.
So I have already talked about two of mine that I would have talked about here throughout the podcast, A Muppet Christmas Carol and Home Alone. So obviously won't touch on those. A Muppet Christmas Carol is also one that I try to watch around a little bit closer, like Christmas Eve type or even Christmas morning.
Planning on watching that this year because I don't think I've actually ever seen it all the way through.
I don't remember you saying that. No, you definitely need to.
Yeah. I try not to tell people that, because when I tell them that, people get very upset.
Yeah, that's
But I have a
honestly
lot
pretty
of,
wild. It's very good.
yeah, I've had a lot of friends who are like, you gotta do it, you gotta do it. So I think this is the year I'm gonna actually sit down, watch it beginning to end.
Awesome. But the one I'll cover just briefly here, It's a Wonderful Life, obviously huge
Mm,
Christmas classic. I just listened to a podcast about it. Mentioned this podcast a few times, What Went Wrong. Highly
yeah.
recommend listening on to the episode on It's a Wonderful Life. A lot of really interesting things. The director, Frank Capra, and Jimmy Stewart were both World War II veterans, and this was the first movie
Mm,
that they did post World War II. And so I think you kind of, with that in mind, you kind of get some of these undertones of like, how do I fit into the regular world, and like, what is my legacy, and that
right.
type of thing. So I think it's really deep. It has some really interesting things. We actually rewatched it, me and Allie, just the other day. I do think it's interesting that the, like, Christmas Carol aspect of it, that doesn't happen until like the last 20 minutes of the movie, or like an hour and
Right.
40 minutes into the movie. Like, it's a long time before you get to that. And it's like, oh, wow, it feels like it's much more prevalent than it is, but I don't think it's a flaw. I think it's just kind of how it's just a
Yeah.
great movie.
I
I think
watched
the
that one for the
reason,
first time actually last year.
no kidding. I think the reason why it's so close to my heart as like one of my favorite Christmas movies, I don't think it was that way. And one time when I was like 12 or 13, me and my sister were going to watch it on a Sunday night, and my other sister had taken it to her house, and so we didn't have it there, and so we're like, oh shoot, like, we need to watch this. And so we called her, texted her, and I think she was going to bring it over, and she lived like 20 minutes away, so she was going to drive over and bring it. And while we were sitting there, my dad was like, oh, well, I can just, like, act it out for you. And he
Oh,
did.
jeez.
He acted out the first like hour of the movie, and we were just sitting there just excited. And I don't know that this movie would fall into the like one of my favorites every year type movie if I didn't have that experience of my dad acting
Yeah.
out so much of the movie for me and my sister. And it was just one of my fondest memories of just like
That's
Christmas
amazing.
movies and things going on. So it it was just like very, like, it's not something that we would have ever expected to have happened. And it just
Right.
did in that moment and was just perfect. And it's, it is a very good movie. So it's like, not like I have any issues with the movie
Yeah.
before that. I was just, 12 or 13. So I don't know how interested I was until that moment. I'm like, oh yeah, this is a great movie.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I had never seen it, been wanting to, and it was one of those things where the Alamo Draft House was doing like a special brunch for it on Christmas Eve. And so I was like,
Oh, no
done, took
kidding. That's
Christmas Eve off
awesome.
work, went and saw it, ate the food. Yeah, did the whole thing. That's solid film. I love that film.
Awesome.
But another one on my list, kind of my number two, is 1966's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. So this
Hmm.
is this is the good Grinch. You have Chuck Jones and Ben Washam directing, with Boris Karloff starring. So, like, fun fact, because Frankenstein is, I know, on people's minds right now. The 1933, I think, Frankenstein. Boris Karloff was the monster, and yeah, most people also know him from. So he's kind of your iconic Frankenstein, and he also is the narrator for How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
No kidding. That's
And then the
awesome.
writer is obviously Dr. Seuss. But this one, I mean, I last year when I watched it, I had been watching a good chunk of the Looney Tunes, because last year I had a lot of things happen around Christmas, and Looney Tunes was something I could put on that made me happy. So I was watching a lot of Looney Tunes at the time, and then I don't know why I hadn't like pieced this together yet. You watch The Grinch after you've been watching some Looney Tunes, and you can tell, like, this is Chuck Jones and this is WB at the height of their powers. Like, they've been doing Looney Tunes for a few decades at this point. Chuck Jones is just a fantastic animator, director. He knows what he's doing here, and you can see it. Like, there's moments, just the Grinch's facial expressions are so good. I think Max the dog is so freaking endearing. You do have some Looney Tunes-esque parts to it where it feels a little like almost like Roadrunner, Wile E. Coyote-esque, where like things are just happening with Max pulling the sleigh, or like when the Grinch is throwing down stuff to Max, and you see Max like waiting for it, and then the big bag of whatever falls on his head.
Yeah, it's great.
It's super, super fun. The song slaps. The song is so good. You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch, just with that deep bass coming in, and I think the lyrics are so just brilliant too. Like, some of the, you have all the tender sweetness of a seasick crocodile. Like, that's so good. So I think the song is fantastic. Every time, when the Grinch's heart grows 3 sizes, I'm always just like, oh, it's so lovely. It just makes me happy every time. I think it really perfectly captures the Christmas spirit too this is kind of a theme between this one and my one that is kind of my number one for Christmas. I do think this one does a great job of showing consumerism and then reminding us that that's not the point.
Yeah.
Like, that is a part of Christmas, It's fun getting presents, seeing the presents grow under the tree is fun. It's fun giving presents too. I really like picking out what I'm going to give people for Halloween or for Christmas. So consumerism is a part of Christmas, but this one really kind of goes to show that, like, that is not the point. And you see that, the Grinch, you see it at the beginning. He talks about, like, oh, there's so much noise, and he kind of rags on consumerism for the first, 5 minutes of the film. And then at the end, he has that moment where he's confused. He's like, well, hang on. How can they be singing? Like, Christmas I took all the consumerism away. I took all the stuff. Why are they still happy and singing? And it's like, well, it's because it's Christmas morning. And that's what you do on Christmas morning, is you sing and you're happy. And that's what it's about. So I love it. I think it's charming. I think it perfectly captures the Christmas spirit. I also just think it is a wonderful feat of animation music, and it won. I want to say this and my number one, I think, both won a Grammy for music. I think it's as far as movie making, I think it's great. As far as just, it really makes me happy, and it's charming as hell. Also great.
Yeah. No, that's a great pick. I think the Grinch, especially recently, the Grinch has become hugely popular, which is exciting, obviously, for you.
Yes.
So I think, there's a few other movies, as I kind of throw my last one out here. There's a few other movies I'll generally watch every year. The Santa Claus, Elf.
Yes.
I did show Ollie the other day. We would watch the Sesame Street and Muppet Christmas special from 1978. I don't know if you've seen it, but they go to Fozzie Bear's mom's house and they're all together. It's really, if you haven't seen it, it's on YouTube. You can go watch it, and it's very charming. It's very, has the good Muppetsy quality of jokes and that type of thing. But then, the last 10 minutes is them just singing Christmas carols, and it's a good time. I think you'd enjoy it, even as sort of background type thing. Very good. But actually, the last one I'll shout here is Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas, which you obviously mentioned.
Yes!
I think that might be one of my favorite Christmas movies out there. It's one that I think it was the first one we showed Oliver this Christmas season. The day after Thanksgiving, first movie we turned on was Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas. I'm not a fan of
Twice Upon a Christmas.
I was gonna say I'm not a fan of Twice Upon a Christmas. I think maybe last year or the year before, but I was a Once Upon a Christmas guy, so that was the one we were watching all the time. So I feel like there's quite a dip in quality between 1 and 2, but that's just me.
Oh, there is. No, like I said, it's not one that I'm like, this is good. It's one that I turn on because every time we laugh at Donald Duck freaking out over his hot chocolate. And every time we sing along to the Goofy one, because I think that's actually the best one.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But yeah, I think it is really good. I think all three stories are good. I do think the Mickey one is the worst of the bunch, but not bad. It's just not my favorite one. But I think the
Remind
Huey,
me,
Dewey,
because it's,
so the
yeah, the
first one
Huey,
is
Dewey, and Louie.
Huey, Dewey, and Louie Groundhog's Day. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
And then it's Max and Goofy, and
I don't know that one.
I don't know what the story is, but it's basically like the tension between Max and Goofy and if Santa Claus is real or not. And
Okay, and
then
then the Mickey Minnie one, that's the
Prince and the
classic.
Pauper, or is that the right name
No,
of
no,
it?
no, it's the,
The
shoot.
oh, it's on the tip of my tongue, but it's the Gift of the Magi.
There we go, yes, yeah.
Yeah. Right, where he saves up or he sells his harmonica to buy her a necklace, and she sells her necklace or whatever to buy him something for his harmonica or whatever it is. But
Right.
yeah, very sweet, very tender. Is my least favorite of the bunch, but it's still good.
Okay.
So yeah, I think that one very much in the same. Christmas movies are interesting, right? Like some of them are very distinct in like what the Christmas spirit is or what. And I think this one is similar in that each of these are very like message driven about being with those that you love and making sure that you remember that and kind of focus on that first, or taking care of other people. Just grown up with this movie, and I think it still holds up today, and I just have a good time watching it.
Yeah. No, I get that.
So what's your
So
number one?
Yeah, my final one, which is the one I watch every year. I love it so much. And this is A Charlie Brown Christmas. And I talked
Oh,
about this one around Halloween, 1965, director Bill Melendez, writer Charles M. Schultz. Um, I love it. As someone who is religious, as someone who's Christian, I do love, hearing the Bible story. And I've seen this so many times that I cannot read Luke 2 without hearing it in Linus's voice. Like
that's awesome.
I cannot read like the Christmas story without just hearing Linus speak. That's what I have that whole section memorized because I've seen this so many times. Because I hear Linus saying it. Like every time it got to a point even growing up where like my dad, would read the Christmas story before we go out and open presents, and every single time, like me and at least one of my siblings, my dad would finish and we'd go, "That's what Christmas is all about, Charlie Brown," because that's how we hear it.
If
And
I'm
that,
being honest, I can't remember the exact details of what happens because we had green Charlie Brown Christmas and we had blue Charlie Brown Christmas. And we'd watch both of those, and I can't remember which one is which and what happens. And there's also a third, which I can separate out, which is I Want a Dog for Christmas, Charlie Brown.
yeah,
But genuinely,
because
I
there's a
can't
Charlie Brown
remember,
Christmas and then there's Christmas Time Again, Charlie Brown.
and I don't remember
So
what happens in either one and which one is which.
So this one, yeah, I mean, I will give a slight recap because I think it's beautiful. I might cry because I felt myself getting misty-eyed when I even just said that line just now. So, but it starts out and it's very much about kind of consumerism. It starts with Christmas Time is Here, which is kind of this lovely, almost melancholy tone, melody. It's really beautiful. And it's Charlie Brown just being like, "Oh my gosh, there's so much commercialism around Christmas. I think I'm depressed." It's Charlie Brown being Charlie Brown. And he's invited to direct this Christmas play. And it ends up being, yeah, just kind of the sensationalist thing again. He's like, "This isn't what it is." And so he's like, "I'm going to go get a Christmas tree." So he and Linus go to get a Christmas tree, and all the Peanuts characters are like, "Get a beer, get a fancy aluminum tree, and he gets this little bedraggled looking pathetic branch of a tree, and he brings it back, and everyone's like, "Oh, Charlie Brown, you can't do anything right. Come on," the normal ragging on Charlie Brown because that's what Peanuts does, and he goes, "Can anyone tell me what Christmas is all about?" And Linus goes, "Sure, Charlie Brown, I can tell you what Christmas is all about." And he tells, lights please, there's a spotlight on Linus, and he recites Luke 2. And just talking. Oh, yeah. Woo, haven't gotten emotional on the podcast yet. But yeah, he recites the Christmas story, and it's lovely. It's one of the moments in Peanuts where, like, there's nothing comedic going on. There's nothing even really crazy that they're doing with the animation. It's just Linus reciting Luke 2. And then, yeah, he just goes over and says, that's what Christmas is all about, Charlie Brown. And Charlie Brown takes the tree, and he takes it outside, and everyone kind of follows him, and he tries to decorate the tree, and it ends up falling over, and he's like, oh man, I ruined it. And all the kids come, and they kind of fix the tree up, and he comes back, and it's, the tree is there, and it looks great. But I just think it's perfect. I don't know what else oh man, I don't know what else to say other than it makes me cry every time. I love it. I feel like it puts me in the Christmas spirit. I think as a work of art, it's wonderful. It hits me because growing it up, it was like, oh, this is the only one that mentions the true meaning of Christmas. But like, as I've gotten older too, like, the music is really amazing. I really like the minimalist animation quality of it. I kind of like the clunky art form. The music all through it is just so good. But yeah, I don't know. This is the one that just every year it puts me in the Christmas spirit. It's this one and like Mr. Krueger's Christmas are the two that always make me cry.
Oh, Mr. Krueger's Christmas. What a shout. Yeah.
Yeah. That one I mean, most of it is just super, super cheesy, but then there's the one scene where he's it's old Jimmy Stewart talking to the Christ child, and every time even if up to that point, super dry-eyed, I'm like, this is so cheesy. It gets to that scene, and I'm just a mess. But yeah, I mean, a Charlie Brown Christmas, I don't know what else there is to say. I think it's perfect. And I think it is the Christmas film for me.
Lovely. No, I'm really glad you shared all that. Thanks for getting a little vulnerable. Christmas is great. There's a lovely spirit to this holiday about being with people you love, and I'm very excited for it. And yeah, there's a lot of great movies to watch, so get to watching. And I
Lots
think
of great movies to watch.
As I mentioned, we'll generally go see a movie around Christmas Eve or Christmas. I think this year the movie will be SpongeBob, so that'll be fun for me.
Excellent. Do let me know how that is.
Of course,
you do have
I will.
Hamill
Of course I will.
playing the Flying Dutchman, so
yeah. No, I'll give you a shout.
Awesome. Well, Adam, got a question for you as always. What are we watching?
Great question as always. It's a boring answer that I keep giving. I promise it'll change eventually, but it's still Ghibli. It's still end of year catch up to get all the awards contenders out. So just go watch movies. Go watch Christmas movies. Go watch Avatar. Go watch SpongeBob. Go watch other indie movies that aren't going to make $1 billion, because that's important too. And
yes,
yeah, as always.
And one last thing, I know we're doing an Arts v Charts coming up. If you want to hone in on this, Wild Robot and Wolf Children.
Oh, we didn't release that yet?
No, we're releasing that later this month.
I swear we released that around Thanksgiving.
We did not. You literally texted me earlier this week, and you were like, so we'll release
sure
Wild Robot and Wolf Children later this month. And I was like, yep, that sounds great.
Huh. No, you're right. Yeah, so we did. So you can watch that. Watch The Wild Robot and Wolf Children, because we did record an episode that we'll be releasing for that. We recorded that episode feels like a lifetime ago.
It's been a minute.
So, yeah, that'll be great. Oh, yeah, because that'll release the day before. That'll release New Year's Eve, right?
Yes, yeah, because we will nothing Christmas.
And then Wolf Children will be New Year's Day.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. No, I know what I'm talking about, and I definitely am the one that sent that schedule out, so shows you how I'm doing. But as always, we appreciate everybody listening, feedback, conversations with us. It's all great. We really appreciate it. Thank you all so much that do listen, and have a good time.
Happy holidays.
Watching movies. Happy holidays. Talk to you later.